Hello everyone, so welcome back to the stream. Today, today will be just analyzing some games from played by Alexander Morozevich. Uh, I'm one of the biggest fan of Alexander Morozevich. I like his game. I love his attacking games a lot. So yeah, so that's the plan today. We'll be analyzing some of the Alexander Morozevich games. I haven't streamed a lot yet for the past few days because I had some other works to do. So yeah, I just picked up the 10 games of Alexander Morozevich, and we'll just try to analyze some of that. So now let me pick a game. Wow, against Avishi. Oh, against Judith Polgar. Okay, I'll just pick this game. So I also love Judith's game, one of the toughest women players of all time. Okay, so as a black, that's much better. The game starts with e4. It reads, I guess he is just going for the French defense. Okay, let me just open the masters table. Where is the masters database? Uh, Not sure how to open that. So we just open that. Okay, so is it up here, right? Or probably I'll just open a DB. Then yeah, so from this I'll just go for the slides. Okay, so e4. Oops, I just opened this game. I'll just go for e4, e3, going for the French defense. Okay, attacking d4 center, French defense d5, knight c3, knight f6, bishop g5. So the reason to play the bishop g5 is to kick the knights. So the knight is put to the queen. So probably the bishop d7 moves move, or even you can just capture the pawn. So Morozevich go with the line of pawn captures e4. So knight captures e4. Now jumping the other bishop to bishop d7. So bishop captures f6, pawn captures f6, knight f3, a6, g3, b5, bishop g2, then bishop b7, queen e2, knight is sorry d7, short castle. Wow, Morozevich is kind of like a this is kind of like a great move, bro. So it's short castle and then the open file of g, and then rook a d1, bishop d5. This will just play. Okay, so bishop takes a2, just block the bishop by playing b3. So bring the other rook to the center. Rook rook f e1. Okay, sliding the king to the corner, playing king h8, knight d2, so it should be knight fg2, c6, wow, attacking move, just c4, pawn takes c4, knight takes c4, and then a5. After a5, knight c3, rook e8, and then knight back to d e3. So he played this move maybe to bring this, open this file of the bishop. So after f5, knight again to the c4 move, queen b8, probably capturing the knight. So probably the bishop takes c4, queen takes c4, and then queen b2. That would be the sequence of moves, I guess. So yeah, bring the other defender to defend this pawn. So even after bishop takes c4, queen takes c4, the b2 pawn is guarded by this knight on a4. So now making an attacking move, triple knights. So the probably the move should be b3. Okay, then playing the bishop to f6, attacking on, so eyeing on this pawn. Okay, queen c2. So queen c2, what's the reason behind this move? Not sure. Probably, I don't know. Okay, then bringing the rook to g8. Okay. So the reason to play the queen c2 is to play queen c1. So probably playing a3 to kick the queen, or bringing the queen to the h6. Okay. Morozevich is doubling up on the G file. Okay. Knight e5, knight captures e5, pawn takes e5, bishop e7, and then doubling up the rook by playing rook d3, rook g8, rook d1, and then striking the attack on the center by playing f4, bringing up the queen up by playing c3, queen c3, okay, pawn captures, it should be as f captures g3, h captures g3, and then playing h4. So bishop captures, what's this move called? Bishop captures d5, pawn captures, it should be the c pawn, right? So c pawn captures d5, and then sliding the rook away to f3, targeting on the f7 square. So king g7, and then playing queen c7, attacking, uh, building a pressure on the bishop on e7, and then the pawn on f7. So Morozevich is going with his attack by playing h4, king g7, sorry, g2. So h takes g3, c takes g3, and then playing queen e4, pinning the rook. Okay, bringing back the queen, defending this pawn, as well as adding a more defender to the rook. Now, ah, she blundered the game. Hmm. Okay, no, she didn't. So after the e2 check, king h3. So if queen captures d1, king captures g4 would be the move. So sliding the rook back to g5, and then she resigns. So the reason to resign is she can't play this. Uh, oh, sorry, I'll just move back. Okay, how do we just clear this things, bro? Uh, I should have to clear that thing. Left click anywhere on the chessboard. That's what I'm just doing. Left click is kind of like drawing. Okay, then let me just. How do I just clear it? I don't know. Should be searching for that too. Uh, is it under games or this is what I just looked at earlier, right? So what does it call, bro? Not sure. Come on, editor window. Where is it? Here is it. Can just clear it. Oh wow, thanks a lot, bro. I'll just. Okay. So save this post for later. I'll just should I upload this one. Thank you. So the whole thing up here is so black is creating a threat on capturing the rook on d1 and also a mate. It's not a mate, right? This is not a mate because the king can escape up here. Now this is a mate. Hmm. Capture and we'll just lead the mate in this way. Uh-huh. Got it. So okay, let me just turn on the engine from the first position. So yeah, it's quite nice that Morzo is just crashing up Judith. Judith is, I guess, Judith is the only player to reach the only woman player to reach 2700. So what's the highest rating of Judith? I'm not sure. Uh, okay, let's go for the video profile. Not bad. Not the toughest GMs, bro. I love her games. She's still playing games? Nope, I guess she stopped playing way back. So 2014. Wow, it's nearly 11 years. So what's the highest rating? The highest rating is somewhere around of 28. So why doesn't this show in the calculation page yet? Okay, in 2005, 2735. So that's her highest rating. Hmm, nice. I just love Alexander Morozovich. So, one of the best attacking player from Russia. So you can just see he's I guess he's top 10 in from all time, I guess. So top rated chess players of all time. I guess nope. Morozovich name isn't here. But I guess in 2700 chess it's been up there, I guess. So where you can just see the all-time high ratings of the people. Yeah, in this one. So let us see where is Morozovich. Yeah, so hitting the highest rating for all time is 2798. Hmm. Wow. He's turned it on 2008. Wow. Vasil Lynchuk is also up there. I love his play too as well. Bobby Fischer, the only one to be listed up here in 70s range. Okay, probably I'll just pick up one of my favorite players and just try to analyze their games. That's it. So let's go for Bobby Fischer's games. I'll just go for Tal, Capablanca as well. I'll just go for Morozovich games and also like Dubo's games as well. So Dubo's Blitz games are also quite well. Hmm. Yeah, we'll just go one by one. Okay, so let's back to this game. So the whole thing is, so Julie starts with e4 and Morozovich is going with the French defense by playing, sorry, e4, it's not e4. So Julie starts with e4 and Morozovich replaces with e6, the French defense. and then playing a d4, striking the center, then d5. Why the board has been half eaten, bro? Can't we make it larger? Okay. Okay, this is the correct size. I don't wanna make it extra large. Okay, so d4, g5, French defense, and then knight c3, knight f6, bishop g5, pawn takes e4. So I'll just go from the start. So e4, e6, d4, d5, and then knight f3, so defending this pawn. You can just capture if you wanna do it. So we're just adding a attacker by playing a knight f6. So we followed up by the bishop g5 move. So after bishop g5 move, he can just either defend it this way, or you can just capture. So after captures and this, you can just add a play this one. So both are, I guess, same. So both has some amount of 4.3 advantage for white, I guess. I'm not sure. So what if we get this directly placed this way? So yeah, it's much worse. So the best move here is to capture right away the pawn, and then after the knight captures the pawn e4, play the bishop e7. Got it. So we can just either retreat back, but retreat is not good. So you can just either capture with the knight. So after this, you can just take on f6. So the queen takes f6 and tear up the knight to f3. So this is the whole sequence of moves, which is kind of like the Royish pattern, rising up here, or you can just play to the bishop takes the knight on f6. So which is kind of like a weird move. So this is much better. So the knight takes knight on f6 is much better, which leads to the Royish one. But the bishop takes f6 is the best move in the position. So you can just either capture with the bishop, so which is the much worse move. So you can just develop the knight, defending on the pawn on d4, and then so he can just develop the other knight to oops, so just sorry, I'll just clear it. Okay, so bishop d7. So this is move. Okay, we'll just go for that as well. So yeah, probably this is a sequence of moves in the opening. So the idea of French is what's the idea behind to play the French? Not sure. I'll just search about it. So idea behind playing French defense. So the black is to establish a solid pawn structure and challenge white's central control by playing the sorry by preparing to advance the pawn d pawn to d5. Instead of immediately attacking, black waits a resilient defense and prevents a long-term counterplay of one issues and some blah 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 things. Okay, just go for it. Sure, and I white. Yeah, so but here the exchange French is drawish. It is not why you should play if you really want to challenge a French player. I don't have much opening knowledge, but you're supposed to play e5. Okay, e5 instead of e takes d5. Okay, I guess they're just calculating over the exchange variation. So let's go for playing a d6, d4, d5. Sudden captures. So it's the exchange variation, I guess. Oh, it's a new variation. I'm not sure what does it call. So e takes d5 is the best move. What if he plays this, which allows him to have a settled pawn, which is much better for the white. Okay, so that's the idea. I'm not sure. So I don't have a shop in English, but I know I'm supposed to play e5 instead of e takes d5. Yeah, but how? But I play e takes d5 followed by c4 anyway at my level. So I doubt the French player also knows what to do. We don't play the main line. Our record is okay, which is e6, which could be better, but inconsequently considering I don't see e6 played much. Our nature record is a wide bunch of games and you can choose the same approach. Don't know, I'll just go and just should be studying the French defense. Yeah, I'm just completely beginner. Okay, so when white plays e4, the classic and simple response is e5. If this opening response is not okay, yeah, instead of e5, they play e6 to head up for the French defense. The French defense is black encoded to king's pawn opening from the white. Mm-hmm. And that's the semi-open game. So the main line continues with the d4 move after d4, white responds with the d5. So the opening is defendable of an aggressive play that offers much success for determined ambitious players. Okay, let's go for it. So it's quite easy. So e4, e6, d5, and d4. That's the sequence of moves that we just so d4 and d5. That's the sequence of moves that take the French defense. So the idea behind the French defense is that the black plays e6 to prepare to advance to d5 pawn. So plays e6 to prepare for d5. Okay. So in order to immediately challenge white's pawn on e4. It is a solid and sharp opening. It has been played by some of the greatest chess players in the world. Magnus Opolson. Okay, with white, he played Sicilian or Riddle plus Queens. With white, he played Sicilian the most. Wow, that's awesome, bro. Vichy, then wait a minute. Okay, that's MagnusPolson.com. This will take you to MagnusPolson. Okay, and then we have a Kramnik, Kasparov, Karpov, Bobby Fischer, Spassky, Petrosian, Tal, a lot of his games. Samislav, Botvinnik, Maxim, Agencies, Games Marsh. It's the Dutch Championship. Oh wow, the Grandmaster Mathematician. I know that's nice. I like him. I love his games. Yeah, Capablanca for sure. Lasker, William Steignitz, Morphy, Rolf Anderson. See, I haven't seen his attacks much, his games much. Howard Staunton, not his games as well. Favorite Charles Fournier is Saint Hamanch, not his games as well. Louis Charles Mahaji Lambo. So I guess I just see the games after Morphe's. So Morphe's the one who just plays the modern chess, I guess. So after Morphe, we'll just go for modern chess in sense, not the chess that we play today, but I guess just after Morphe, we go modern chess. Just he just completely changed the way we approach the chess. Ruslan Panomarev, Rustam Kashim, Kashim Shadraw. You have to pronounce his names. Ronian up there. Krakatauer, Hanzovish. Okay, let's go for the theory. So following this e4, e6, g5, and g4, sorry, g4 and g5 moves, there's a central pawn of things, right? So which black immediately challenges by attacking the pawn on e4, which was the main idea as mentioned before. So which option is include defending the e4 pawn by playing knight c3, or the knight d2. Okay, that we can just defend it. Further, white can even advance the pawn to e5 or exchange the pawn with e takes d5, each of which now leads to different types of positions. So the main theory is e4, e6, g4, g5. So you can just close the position, or you can just capture it. So till this d4, sorry, but e takes g5, e takes d5, or you can just defend by playing f3, knight f3, or knight c3 or knight d2. But the best option up here is to play knight c3, so which allows the other bishop to develop this way. Also defends this, you can just either capture or you can just advance. So every option is available till now, right? So I guess that's the reason why knight c3 is a nice move. The key concept is the principle began in the French defense is mostly counter-attack. It is considered a treacherous play at times, seeing as how black does surrender space. So this is a bold move for seeking a win to play with black pieces, and it tends to begin an intense and unyielding battle variant or various possible outcomes. So I guess we just learned how to defend the French defense, but sorry, how to counter-attack or defend the French defense. But to play the French defense as a black, I guess so the main reason to play the French defense as a black is to just add more attackers to this e4 pawn, right? So trying to capture or demolish the center. That's the main key idea behind playing the French defense. But Stockwell says this is not an optimal move that we can just gain from the white's opening, because what does it say? So let's go for, so I guess c5, the Sicilian is the, nope. What's the best move for black in this position? e5, striking e5 is kind of like a Roche one. Okay, just go for different variations in a different game. So as of now, I'll just focus on this game. That would be better, right? Yeah, so that's the main line. Should we be playing knight c3? Then just have the exchange variation where the pawn captures the d5. Can just go for that one variation where I can just close the position by playing e5 and just go for Tarrasch variation. What's Tarrasch variation? Wow, exchange variation is going like this much more. Okay, I'll just go and just practice this thing. So e6, g4, d5. Let's go for pawn takes d5, pawn takes d5. So after this, what's the move? We'll just be playing a bishop d3, knight c6. So bishop d3, knight c6, attacking this pawn. Then playing knight f3, defending this pawn. Then going for the bishop, sorry, bishop g4, defending the knight. Now we can just play this. Not sure. Okay, castles. Knight takes g e7. Sorry, knight g e7. Rook e1. Queen d7. Knight bd2. Shoot castles. Hmm. Yeah. So that's the sequence of moves. So after c3, he plays the bishop d6 move. So and then short castle. Then knight plays this. Now e1 or something like that. Uh, Queen d7. Now we can just play the other knight. Sorry, should be developing the bishop away, right? No, so that's not the need. So we'll just bring the knight b to d2. So long castle. So yeah, this is the position, right? The game continues like this. It's kind of like a drawish or a much in favor of white. Okay, then go for the advanced variation. I'll just close the position, just place down there. And Tarrasch variation is to defend with, so just defend with the c3 pawn. Okay, so the same kind of lines, so I'll just play with just from the beginning. Okay, so just go for, okay, so just go for e4, e6, g4, d5. So let's go for the advanced variation by playing e5, closing the position. So after this, no. So you should be playing knight d2 first, and then f6. Sorry, this is not the close variation. Just not playing the close variation, right? You should be playing the Tarrasch variation. The Tarrasch variation is defending the pawn by playing the knight d2, not the main line of knight c3. And then after that, you can just add the defender by playing knight f6, adding one more attacker to this pawn, the both pawns as well. And then you'll just be playing e5, which is the advanced variation, closing the position. Then the knight of d7. So the knight f d7, c3, c5, knight bg3. Sorry, bishop d3, knight c6. So trap in black's favor and trap in white's favor. So what's the trap in black's favor? Let's go from the beginning. So a4, sorry, e4, e6, d4, g5, the French defense. So after this, just going for the main line, knight c3, and then bishop b4. So just playing the bishop b4, pinning the knight to the king. Okay, then queen g4, knight f6. So queen g4 attacking on this pawn, and knight f6 attacking the queen, waiting for this pawn. If queen captures h7, rook h8, bishop d2. Sorry, queen captures h7, rook. Sorry, what's it called? Rook f8, not the rook. Okay, let's go for the rook. What if I play this? We just play h6 and the queen escapes, right? So rook d6, attacking further, and then the queen h4, pinning the knight as well. So knight takes e4, queen takes queen, king takes queen, and then the bishop takes c3. You can just keep and bishop takes c3 and issuing the pawns to play something like that, right? But here in this line, so after this move, so rook played f8, not g8. So rook f8, sorry, rook f8 is much worse for black, right? Okay, I didn't understand the game yet. So the games, okay, let me just start from the beginning. So e4, e6, d4, d5. So after these four moves, the French defense will be completed. So just going for the main line by playing the knight c3 move and pinning the knight to the king by playing the bishop b4 move. So after bishop b4, just developing the queen g4 move is natural to attack the undefended pawn on g7. So the bait is appears by playing knight f6, so allowing white to capture the h7, sorry, the g7 pawn. So the queen captures g7. Okay, then rook g8. Okay. So rook g8 is the this is the move, not rook f8. So that's the next. No, okay, got it. So rook g8, h6, rook g6. So after h6, queen h6, so knight takes equals the move. Okay, so after queen h6, knight takes e4. You can just capture on queen h7. Okay, capture on queen h7, and then so the rook is undefended. So let's move the rook to h8, and then queen h6. Oops. And then yeah, sure. Should not be playing the bishop g2. So the bishop g, sorry, the bishop d2 allows. Sorry. So the bishop d2 is the blunder. So should not be playing the bishop d2. Should be playing the queen h6, the same backward move, because the threat appears. So let's say I'll just play some other move like this. So this allows of capturing queen f6. Okay, bringing more attackers to this pawn. Okay, got it. Um, so after this move, so the reason to play the bishop d2 is to, let's say you can just play the knight takes, pawn takes, d c3, and then bishop takes c3 comes with check and picks the rooks up. So to just defend all those things, we'll just be playing this bishop d2, but which results in a blunder. So that's the reason you shouldn't be playing the bishop d2. So what's the lineup here? So after playing the bishop d2, you can just capture the bishop on c3. Sorry, you can just capture the knight by the bishop c3. So bishop takes c3, and then now playing queen f6. So now the queen f6 moves too strong, where it just attacks on the f2 square, and you can just play. So this is a nice move, right? You can just sort of the this traps the queen. Got it. So the only move is to capture the bishop, sorry, the knight on e4. So after the queen captures, you can just play knight back to this d2, or you can just forward up. Okay, so this is the whole threat up here. So the threat is to tap the queen and a mate. So that's the thing. So this is eyeing on this both the squares, so which allows to play the queen h8 move, which taps the queen as well and mate in one. So that's the bait up here. So the original sequence of moves should be playing back the queen h6. So how does this resolve the thing? So after playing back the queen h6, now the knight captures c6, the pawn captures. No, you should not be playing this move immediately, but you should be playing the bishop d2 now. Okay, wow. Now I got the idea. So now that's an escaping square for the queen as well, and also got the idea. So now the knight takes a2, the preferable move, which captures the pawn as well, and then after, okay, you just play the sorry, you just play the rook takes h2, keeping the pressure on the bishop. So bishop takes d2, queen takes d2, yeah, and the whole position is favorable for white. Hmm, got it. So that's the trap for black. So So we'll just start from the beginning, right? I'll just try to remember the sequence of moves. I'll just try to understand the sequence of moves so that I can just form the whole sequence of moves, not by memorization. So e4, e6, d4, d5, the French defense. I'll just go for the main line. We're playing the knight c3, and then just pin the knight. We're playing the bishop b4, and then we just play the queen g4 by attacking the g7 pawn, and let the queen to take the g7 pawn, and it takes the d7 pawn, rook g8, queen h6, and then the the knight takes e4, rook f8. I bring back the queen to avoid the threat. If you're just doing this bishop d2 move, then you're just in this spot of losing the game. After this and this, you just develop the queen, attacking the pawn and trapping the queen. So that's the trap for black. So for the trap for white is, let's go for the same sequence of e4, e4, e6, d4, d5. So after this, okay, let's go for the main line, knight c3 and bishop b4. So the same sequence of moves. Now you should be playing e5. Hmm. So yeah, this e5 move allows him to strike on the center by playing this uh, c5 move. So if not black responded with it, then it just capture leads to loss of the knight because of the pin. But still you can just kick the bishop and move the knight, but I guess it's still bad position for white. Okay, so after this e5 c5, let's go for a3. Bishop takes the knight on c3. Pawn takes the sorry, it's b takes c3, and then the queen c7 move. So the queen c7. So defending this pawn, and then just go for the b takes c3. So bishop takes c3, queen c7, and let's go for the knight f7 and knight e7. So knight f3 and okay, it's e7, right? So just develop the other knight to the e7. Probably eyeing at this square, I guess. I'm not sure. Maybe you can just eye on the f5 square. Okay. After this, we'll be playing d3. So adding more pressure on the f5 square. So knight e7, developing the other knight as well. Ah, what are doing? It's not knight e7. It's knight b c6. So the knight b should be played c6. Okay, adding a more attack on this d4 pawn, and then bishop takes. Okay, both are just doing short castle. I'll just do short castle. Wow, so this simply seems like a good move, but it isn't. Because the sequence of moves of Keres captures, captures, so knight g5 check, so king g6, and just play the queen d3 check, just play him, yeah, you can just play this move, but this is mate in 1, so you can't play this, so you should be playing this f5 move, uh, queen h3 is the move, not, not the pawn captures that, okay, so queen h3 is the move, and then knight takes e5, still the queen h7 is a mate, so you should be uh, giving some square for the king to escape, like maybe f6, so wish results of capturing this, sorry, Saturn h3, knight e4, for knight takes e5, and then now you just go for bishop f4, just pinning the knight to the queen, and then knight takes, so knight f3 check, queen takes f3, and then queen b6. So now we are just up a full knight. You can just easily bring this into one winning endgame. You can just play the queen g3 move, so defending this way and also opening up multiple discoveries in the game carousel like that. So the whole sequence of things is you're just developing as usual for both black and white, but we just copy the white by playing the simple castling move as a black, then you're dead in that position. So e4, e6, d4, d5. You just play the knight c3, the main line just goes on playing the bishop to the king by playing the bishop b4. So now we'll be just playing the e5, the closed position, and then plays a c5, selecting on the center. So now we should be adding more defense for the center right. So we'll be probably kicking the bishop back, capture, b takes c3, and queen d7. Sorry, queen c7, depending the pawn on c5, and develop at the knight, I guess. What's the move? Not sure. Probably this is the move. Yeah, so knight f3 is the move. So knight e7. So aiming for the square, so we just go for the bishop d3 move. So after the bishop d3, so he can just close the position by keeping the bishop right, so which leads to the bishop e2, kind of like a bait to close the position. Understood? So we can just play the knight to c6, then short castle. Should not be short castle. If this is short castle, you can just capture this, 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 comes here, let's go for this. We go there, you can just have a mate one, or he just plays this. You should not be taking by ampersand, but you should be playing this move, which allows to have a mate in one. If he captures and try to have some space for the king, just pin the knight with the queen, and even if it, there is no way, so it should be giving up his knight and with a queen out of this file, so that he can just have some space for his king. So that's the whole sequence of moves up there. So got it. So this is the trap for white. Third, this is the trap which is in white's favor, and for the black's favor, we just go and waiting the h7 pawn for so black. So okay, that's the whole sequence of the playing French defense, both in white and black positions. So knight c3 is the famous move. This is white 41%, white's win is 41%, draw is 32%, and black win is 160%. Wow. So Zorovish just played against the knight c3 and won the game. Wow, that's nice. Hmm. Yeah, more results is up there. Okay, so just go and just analyze the whole game. So the game starts with e4, e6, d4, d5, knight c3, knight c3, and the knight f6 move, then pinning the knight to the queen, then pinning the bishop or g5 move, then what is it? Yeah, okay. So then e d takes e4. Oh, okay, d takes e4 and then knight takes e4, then bishop e7, And then bishop takes knight on f6, and then the pawn takes f6, which is to be pawn takes f6, and then developing the knight to f3 square, and then a6 move, and developing a b2, a6 after a6, and then a6 and g3, where just played a b5 move, and then the bishop g2. Okay, bishop b2, so b7, or it's b2. So bishop g2, bishop b7, queen e2. So it's still so hard for me to remember the position by its notations. And then the knight it's knight d7, short castle, and then the rook a d1, bishop d5, rook rook f e1, and then sliding the queen to the corner of h square, rerouting the knight so that you can just attack by playing rerouting the knight to the d2 so that you can just play c4 in the next move. So c4, b captures c4, knight captures c4, and then playing a5, and then playing knight back to c3, attacking on the bishop, so d attacking on the d4 bishop. Okay, rook e8, bringing the other knight to the a3 to attack on d5 bishop. Okay, f5. Okay, once again, moving back the knight up there. I don't know. Maybe Judith is waiting up here for Murugalit's attack, maybe. Okay, the position is already in the favor of black in this, where you can just play so rook 4 g5. Queen e4 is the move, allowing him to capture queen e4, allowing him to capture. He captures, then he can just play the h4, tracking on the center. So the king is safe up there. You can also give up the bishop as well. Then you can just play the h3. Nope. H takes g3. So playing this now, which allows rook So the queen e2. This mate is unstoppable, so it should be forcing to play this one. So this allows e1, king g2, rook h4. So yeah, we have a mate in one which is unstoppable. Knight c3 is a better one. Now playing the queen e4, which we played way back before. E2 check. Then this allows to play the mate in 5 seconds of mode, which is starts with the rook at d6, which is simply going back. So I have made it 4. So I can just play the rook f2, giving up the rook. So queen takes f2, and then a rook at d4. So defending along this away. Okay, I'll just go for, let's say he plays some kind of moves. Then you can just play the rook. So this allows the rook h8 is check, right? So this is like hmm. So to stop that, okay, let's say he plays this. So I'll just go for the same rook h8 move, h4, h4, rook takes h4, then the king takes h4. It's not good because of the queen h2 checkmate. So it is good to take with this way, so which allows the queen g to checkmate. Hmm. Wow, that's a nice endgame. Okay, so my energy is dried up. I guess we just recall this game once again. I'll just end the stream. That's it. So okay, developing this way, becoming the several lines, exchanging the pawns at the center, bringing the b7 to her bishop pawn, attacking the rook, exchanging the knights and striking the center. And after striking the center, a simple queen e4 move just ends the game in the spot at her playing e2 check. There is no position for the white. Got it. So probably I'll just end the stream now and we'll just analyze the other Alexander Moore series games in the next stream. You guys, bye bye. Take care.